get you, in fact, visuals right now that are coming in from Moscow, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has landed. Remember, Prime Minister is on a two-day visit to Russia. There'll be a ceremonial welcome for the Prime Minister. There you can see all set to welcome the Prime Minister. Later today, of course, President Vladimir Putin will be hosting a private dinner for PM Modi. At any moment now, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, can now step into Russia. He's in fact landed a short while back, but all arrangements in place to welcome the Indian Prime Minister there, his first bilateral visit since he assumed the office for a third time, clearly reflecting India's priorities and the kind of importance that it attaches to its relationship with Russia. In previous times, we've seen Prime Minister Modi, when he assumed office, he would travel to a neighboring country, whether it was Bhutan or Bangladesh or other neighboring countries. But this time around, the first country that India has chosen for a bilateral visit is Russia. So clearly, a lot of importance that is being attached to this relationship. But remember, this is also significant because Prime Minister Modi is visiting Russia for the first time since the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. The two leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President Vladimir Putin, have talked over phone all through this war. But this is the first time that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Russia in person to meet with President Vladimir Putin. He's there to attend the India-Russia annual summit, a strong relationship, a strong bilateral relationship, in fact, that the country has seen over the past several years. Now, remember, India has navigated its way through the Russia-Ukraine conflict very, very strategically amid the changing geopolitics around the world. And it's not just India and Russia that will be eyeing this entire visit by Prime Minister Modi closely, but Western countries, United States and the West, are closely watching this visit of the Indian Prime Minister to Russia. This also, remember, comes amid the growing closeness, the growing proximity of Russia and China. In fact, the two leaders of Russia and China had met just a few weeks back, and therefore this visit by the Indian Prime Minister becomes all the more crucial and significant when we talk about the changing geopolitics after the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, what's on the agenda? We can expect deals and agreements to be signed on defense and energy. There you can see visuals on your screens from Prime Minister Narendra Modi landing in Russia and a ceremonial welcome for the Indian Prime Minister in Russia. Prime Minister Narendra Modi landing in Russia, very, very crucial visit, and a ceremonial welcome for the Indian Prime Minister there in Moscow.
And further elevated to privilege and space strategic partnership in 2010. India and Russia have had annual summit-level delegation talks, which included Prime Minister from India and President from Russia since 2000 till 2021. And 2022 and 23, these summit-level talks could not happen because of the various engagements for both the leaders, and both the leaders could not visit each other's country. But after that, this time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi decided to have the first bilateral visit after resuming the Prime Ministership for the third time to Russia. Remember, in general, there is a precedence that the first bilateral visit is saved for a neighborhood. But this time around, India chose Russia for the first bilateral visit, and this shows the importance that both the countries accord to each other. When we talk about defense and strategy, remember 60% of India's weaponry till now has come in from Russia, and even now when the Atmanirbhar Bharat program is on, India's endeavor to ensure that they are self-reliant in defense industry, Russia is helping. If we talk about the bilateral trade between both the countries, the bilateral trade amounts to 65 billion USD, and that is very, very significant.
Live visuals from Moscow there, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has landed, an extremely crucial visit of the Prime Minister. Remember, this is the first time the Prime Minister of India is visiting Russia since the Russia-Ukraine conflict began. But India has very strategically and smoothly navigated its way through this conflict despite pressures from the West. In fact, India and Russia are not the only two countries that are closely monitoring this visit. It is also being eyed closely by the West as well as China, a country that Russia is close to. There is growing proximity between the two countries, especially after the Russia-Ukraine conflict began. But on the agenda of the Indian Prime Minister will be defense pacts between the two countries, cooperation on energy, in space sector. Space cooperation is also something that we can expect between India and Russia. Apart from that, he's also going to be seeking to deepen the cooperation in the space sector as well as energy cooperation, something that has peaked over the past few years, informed that the two countries have seen a bilateral trade of about $65 billion just in 2023-24, which is much, much higher than what the two countries had set for themselves. A target of $25 billion had been set for 2025. But that clearly has been surpassed in 2023-24, primarily due to the energy cooperation between the two countries. And India, remember, is also seeking to activate the Kudankulam reactors 3 and 4, another cooperation that is expected between the two countries in the area of nuclear energy. With the help of Russia, in the next 2 years, India is seeking to activate those two reactors and begin the work on reactor 5 and 6 for the 6,000 megawatt plant. So that is also something that India is eyeing. In fact, when we talk about space, India is looking for Russian help in the Gaganyaan space mission as well to send Indian astronauts into space and back. Apart from, of course, something that is being called the establishment of a space station as well as landing on the moon. But from here on, the Prime Minister is expected to host, in fact, a while from now, participate in that private dinner that will be hosted by President Vladimir Putin in a short. So a ceremonial guard of honor that was accorded to the Indian Prime Minister as soon as he landed in Russia. And a plethora of issues that are on the table between India and Russia when the two leaders, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Vladimir Putin, hold talks tomorrow. We'll keep getting you the latest updates from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Russia, very crucial one. But right now, it's time for a short break. News and updates will continue on the other side.